Let's start with the appearance. Compared to the first generation, its lines are a bit more rounded, but the 8.8-inch screen still has a powerful presence, adding a touch of dominance. There's something special about this screen, which we'll get into in the audio-visual experience section, but I have to mention, the controller on this engineering sample doesn't have a paint finish, so the texture looks quite poor. However, the condition of the tablet itself exceeded my expectations. It's not only very new, but also has a high degree of completion. The design of the top of the machine is very distinctive, with speaker openings and a double-row large air outlet. You can see the internal motherboard directly through the vent, which suggests its cooling capability is impressive just by looking at it. The power button is also on top, decorated with an LED, and it incorporates a fingerprint function. When enrolling or unlocking, the top LED flashes to indicate the fingerprint position, though I feel the brightness is a bit too high. The volume key is on the top right. On the side, it has two Type-C ports, one top, one bottom. The bottom also has a TF card slot and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Personally, I don't think the headphone jack placement is ideal. This machine is quite large and heavy, and with a detachable controller and a stand on the back, it can be used upright on a desktop. But because the headphone jack is at the bottom, using headphones while it's standing up can be awkward. There are also two small openings on the bottom sides which look like they appear to be for accessories such as a magnetic keyboard. The machine is 0.91 inches thick centrally. Due to its unbeveled design, it looks quite bulky, yet it surprisingly feels very sturdy and dependable. For its specs, it has a built-in 80-watt lithium battery and weighs 2.07 pounds. The grip is significantly curved, offering a comfortable hold with even weight distribution. The controller can be detached for wireless use, the right controller. The mouse mode from the first generation is retained, so it has an exceptional number of buttons. In addition to the regular buttons, there's a touchpad, dual side buttons, dual back buttons, and even a scroll wheel. A switch at the bottom of the right controller toggles between mouse and controller modes. In mouse mode, it feels very special in hand, like operating an airplane or a Gundam, but too many buttons also lead to issues. When used as a controller, light palm pressure can easily cause accidental presses. However, I haven't assigned functions to these buttons yet, so it hasn't caused any problems. Also, I'm not a fan of how the controller detaches and attaches. Detaching it feels rather poor, and when attaching, it's often hard to align the holes. This could be because it's an engineering sample, as most of the issues with my unit originate from this controller. Now let's examine the screen and external audio. This 8.8-inch OLED screen boasts impressive specifications, featuring a 1920 by 1200 resolution and HDR support, and a 144Hz refresh rate with a native landscape screen. My tests show its sRGB color gamut coverage reached 94% and central brightness over 500 nits. I'm unsure if it's my settings or the device, but the data seems inaccurate. The actual visual experience is definitely top tier. HDR works and can be enabled directly, though low brightness shows slight smudging. I hope this improves in the final version. On the other hand, it uses low-frequency PWM dimming, which is typical of Samsung's style. I'd recommend using it in a slightly brighter environment, since the display quality is truly undeniable. The external audio is also praiseworthy. The speaker openings are on top, and the sound performance is excellent. In the system apps, you can see the Dolby Digital Plus decoder for PC OEM products, so I assume it has been tuned by Dolby. You can listen to this sample to hear the current effect. Now let's talk about the CPU's performance. There's not much new to discuss here, as I've already conducted extensive tests on the Core i8. Furthermore, this machine is equipped with an unreleased engineering sample of the CPU, meaning its performance might vary from the official retail version. When operating at 30 watts of power consumption, the TimeSpy CPU benchmark reached 9,112 points, while the GPU scored 3,432 points, according to Master Lu. The CPU scored 680,000, GPU 170,000 plus game benchmarks. Forza Horizon 54 frames per second, Cyberpunk 2077 39 frames per second, Tomb Raider 49 frames per second, Black Myth, Wukong 49 frames per second, Monster Hunter Wilds 53.8 frames per second. The difference from the Core i8 isn't large. Core temperature in the cooling test was impressive. I aimed for 35 watts, but it only sustained 28 watts. At 28 watts, plugged in for 30 minutes in a 77-degree Fahrenheit air-conditioned room, the core temperature stabilized around 153 degrees Fahrenheit. The handheld device was at 46 watts, with fan noise around 39 decibels. The actual noise level feels lower than what the decibel meter indicates. My ambient noise might affect this result, but the cooling capability is robust. Disassembly is simple. Remove the back screws to reveal the interior. The internal structure, with its massive battery and fan, is immediately clear. You can see the cooling module is quite luxurious, and the overall interior workmanship is neat.